The Awakening of the Los. In the quiet village of Eldenwood, young the Los spends his days studying magic under the guidance of an elderly mage. One fateful night, strange lights emanate from the nearby dungeon, drawing Thalos's curiosity. As he investigates, he stumbles upon an ancient artifact, a crystal orb pulsating with energy. When he touches it, he experiences visions of powerful spells and forgotten lore. Conflicted by his newfound abilities and fearing he may attract unwanted attention, the Los decides to keep his powers hidden while seeking answers about the dungeon's significance. He begins to notice changes in his surroundings, animals act strangely, and whispers fill the air at night. 2. The Call to Adventure. Mira is known as one of Eldoria's fiercest warriors, having defended her kingdom against numerous threats. When news reaches her about missing villagers connected to Eldenwood's dungeon, she feels compelled to act. Summoned by her king, she gathers a diverse team including the Los, who she believes can help decipher magical clues. As they prepare for their journey, Mira learns about each member's backstory. Jarek's rogue skills stem from a life of crime, Ilara's healing powers are tied to her family's legacy, and Kale's charm hides ambitions that may not align with their mission. 3. Into the Depths. Descending into the dark corridors of the dungeon, Myra's team encounters various traps and creatures that test their resolve. Jarek's expertise in stealth allows them to bypass some dangers, but his reluctance to share information about his past creates friction within the group. As they delve deeper, they find remnants of ancient battles and clues suggesting that something powerful lies within. Tensions escalate when Jarek's past catches up with him. He is recognized by a creature they encounter, leading to a narrow escape that leaves everyone questioning their trust in him. 4. Betrayal and Revelation. In a hidden chamber adorned with mystical symbols, Ilara feels an inexplicable connection to an ancient being imprisoned within a magical barrier. When confronted by this entity, a guardian of the dungeon, she learns it was once her ancestor who sealed it away for fear of its power. The guardian offers Ilara immense power in exchange for freedom, forcing her to choose between personal gain and loyalty to her friends. As revelations unfold about each character's true motives and connections to the dungeon's magic, trust begins to erode within the group. 5. The Final Confrontation. As tensions reach their peak, Kale reveals his ambition, to harness the Guardian's power for himself and dominate both kingdoms. A battle erupts in the heart of the dungeon as alliances shift and chaos reigns. The Los steps forward, finally embracing his powers learned from the artifact. He confronts Kale in an epic showdown fueled by magic and steel while Mira leads her team against monstrous foes summoned by Kale's dark ambitions. In a climactic moment, the Los uses his newfound abilities not just for destruction but to seal away Kale's ambitions forever. With unity restored among surviving members and lessons learned from betrayal and trust, they emerge from the depths transformed by their experiences. This outline sets up an engaging fantasy narrative featuring unique characters and plot developments while maintaining thematic elements similar to those found in The Human Who Defied the Dungeon. Each part can be expanded into detailed narratives exploring character growth and intricate world building within this rich fantasy setting. The Call to Adventure. Mira stood at the edge of Eldoria, her heart pounding with anticipation. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the cobblestone streets as she prepared for what lay ahead. Rumors of strange happenings in the nearby dungeon had reached her ears, and as a warrior sworn to protect her kingdom, she felt compelled to investigate. The call for help had come from Eldenwood, a small village plagued by mysterious disappearances. Villagers spoke of eerie lights emanating from the dungeon and whispers of creatures lurking in the shadows. As Mira gathered her gear, she reflected on the gravity of the situation. This was no ordinary quest, lives were at stake, and she needed a team she could trust. She made her way to the tavern where adventurers often gathered. The air was thick with the scent of ale and roasted meat, and laughter echoed off the wooden beams. Mira scanned the room, her eyes landing on a familiar face, the Los, the young mage she had met during her travels. His reputation for untapped potential had intrigued her, and she believed he could be a valuable asset. "The Los," Mira called out, striding toward him. He looked up from his table, where he had been engrossed in a dusty tome. "Mira. It's good to see you," he replied, closing his book with a snap. "What brings you here?" "I need your help," she said earnestly. "There's been trouble in Eldenwood, disappearances linked to the dungeon. I'm forming a team to investigate." Thalos's eyes widened with excitement and apprehension. "You want me to join you?" "Absolutely," Mira affirmed. "Your knowledge of magic could be crucial." As they spoke, Yarrick slipped into view from the shadows of the tavern. His presence was marked by an air of mystery. He was known for his skills as a rogue but also for his elusive nature. "Are you two planning something without me?" Yarrick asked with a sly grin. "We need all the help we can get," Mira replied, crossing her arms. "Are you in?" Yarrick leaned against the wall casually, considering her offer. "I suppose it could be entertaining," he said finally. "Count me in." With Jarek's agreement secured, Mira felt a surge of confidence. They needed one more member, a healer who could tend to any injuries they might incur during their journey. She thought of Alara, a talented healer known for her gentle demeanor and strong connection to nature. Mira led the Los and Yarrick through the winding streets until they reached Alara's cottage on the outskirts of town. The air was fragrant with blooming flowers as they approached her door. "Who is it?" Alara called from inside. "It's Mira. We need your help." Mira replied. The door swung open, revealing Alara with a warm smile that quickly turned serious upon hearing their request. "What's happened?" she asked, concern etched on her face. "There have been disappearances in Eldenwood linked to the dungeon," Mira explained. "We're forming an expedition to investigate." Alara nodded resolutely. "I'll join you. People need help." With their party assembled, they gathered supplies and set out at dawn, leaving behind the safety of Eldoria for the unknown dangers that awaited them in Eldenwood. The journey was filled with conversations that revealed each character's motivations and fears. The Los shared tales of his studies in magic, while Yarrick entertained them with stories from his past escapades, some embellished for comedic effect. As they approached Eldenwood, an unsettling silence enveloped them. The village appeared deserted, shutters were closed tightly as if to keep out unwanted visitors. "Something isn't right," Mira murmured as they stepped into the village square. Suddenly, an elderly villager emerged from a nearby alleyway, his eyes wide with fear. "You're here. You must help us," he pleaded. "What happened?" Alara asked gently. "People have been disappearing. At night, we hear strange noises coming from the dungeon," he explained, trembling. Mira exchanged glances with her companions before addressing the villager again. "We're here to investigate. Can you tell us more about what you've seen?" The villager nodded eagerly. "It started weeks ago. First one person went missing, then another. We thought it was just rumors until we saw lights flickering in the dungeon at night." "Have you seen any creatures?" the Los inquired. "Only shadows," he replied shakily. "But there are whispers that call to us." Yarrick raised an eyebrow at this revelation. "Whispers? That sounds ominous." Mira placed a reassuring hand on the villager's shoulder. "We'll do everything we can to find out what's happening and bring your people back safely." With their purpose clear and determination renewed, Mira led her team toward the entrance of the dungeon, a gaping maw in the earth that seemed to swallow light itself. As they descended into darkness, torches flickering against damp stone walls, each member felt a mixture of excitement and dread about what lay ahead. Inside the dungeon, it became apparent that it was far more complex than any of them had anticipated. The air was thick with moisture and an eerie silence hung over them like a shroud. "Stay close," Mira instructed as they moved deeper into the labyrinthine passages. Suddenly, the Los halted abruptly, raising his hand as if sensing something amiss. Wait. I feel magic here. What kind? Ilara asked cautiously. It's faint but, it feels like something is watching us, the Los replied uneasily. Yarrick smirked but couldn't hide his own apprehension. Great, just what we need, an audience. As they pressed onward, strange symbols began to appear on the walls, arcane markings that pulsed with energy as if alive. The Los stepped forward to examine them more closely. These are ancient runes, he said thoughtfully. They speak of guardians, and traps. Traps? Ilara echoed nervously. Yes, the Los confirmed grimly. We should proceed carefully. Mira took charge once again, leading them through narrow corridors while keeping an eye out for any signs of danger or clues about what had happened to the missing villagers. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the chamber as stones fell from above. They ducked just in time as debris rained down around them. Run! Mira shouted as they sprinted down another corridor just ahead of collapsing rock formations. Heart pounding in her chest, she glanced back at her companions. Yarrick was already looking for escape routes while the Los chanted spells under his breath to shield them from falling debris. Ilara kept pace despite fear gripping her heart. She focused on staying calm and readying herself for any injuries that might occur during their escape. Finally reaching a large chamber illuminated by flickering torches mounted on stone pillars, they paused to catch their breath amid scattered bones and remnants of past adventurers who had likely met their end here. This place is cursed, Yarrick muttered darkly as he surveyed their surroundings cautiously. Mira nodded solemnly. They needed answers fast before more lives were lost or worse, before they became part of this dungeon's dark history themselves. As they regrouped and planned their next move amidst uncertainty and danger lurking around every corner, each member knew that together they would face whatever challenges awaited them within these ancient walls, a test not just of strength but also of trust among themselves as allies united against an unknown threat lurking within this forsaken place. This part captures both character development and plot progression while immersing readers into an engaging adventure filled with suspense and camaraderie among Myra's team as they embark on their perilous quest into the depths of darkness within the dungeon. Into the depths. As Mira and her team stood in the cavernous chamber, the flickering torchlight cast eerie shadows on the walls, illuminating ancient runes that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. The air was thick with moisture and the faint scent of decay, and an unsettling silence enveloped them. It was clear that they had entered a place where time itself felt distorted, and every step echoed with foreboding. Stay alert, Mira instructed, her voice steady despite the tension in the air. We don't know what else might be lurking here. The Los stepped closer to the runes, his brow furrowed in concentration. These markings, they tell a story, he murmured, tracing his fingers over the intricate designs. They speak of guardians and trials, of those who came before us seeking power or knowledge. Yarrick leaned against a nearby pillar, arms crossed, his expression skeptical. Great. More riddles to solve while we're dodging traps and monsters. Just what I wanted. Ilara knelt beside the Los, her healer's intuition sensing the magic radiating from the runes. If these are indeed guardians, we may need to prove ourselves worthy to proceed, she said softly. It's not uncommon for dungeons like this to test those who seek entry. Then let's hope we pass whatever test they have in store for us, Mira replied, glancing around for any signs of movement. Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the chamber, causing dust to fall from the ceiling. The ground trembled slightly beneath their feet. What was that? Yarrick asked, his playful demeanor vanishing as he straightened up. I think we just triggered something, the Los said, stepping back from the runes as they began to glow brighter. Everyone get ready. The runes flared with light, and a series of stone blocks shifted within the walls, revealing a pathway leading deeper into the dungeon. The air grew colder as an ominous wind swept through the chamber. Shall we? Mira gestured toward the newly revealed passage. With cautious determination, Mira led her companions into the dark corridor that lay ahead. The atmosphere shifted as they moved deeper into the dungeon. It felt as if unseen eyes were watching their every move. As they traversed the winding path, they encountered various obstacles, pits filled with spikes, swinging blades that sliced through the air with deadly precision, and illusions designed to confuse and mislead them. Each challenge tested their skills and resolve. During one particularly treacherous section filled with pitfalls, Jarek's agility shone through. He deftly navigated ahead of the group, disarming traps with practiced ease. "You see? This is why you need a rogue on your team," he called back with a grin. Ilara rolled her eyes but couldn't suppress a smile. "Just don't get too cocky, we still have a long way to go." The Los focused on channeling his magic to illuminate their path and protect his friends from harm. He could feel his powers growing stronger with each challenge they faced together. "I can sense something ahead, a source of magic," he said as they approached another chamber. Mira nodded, her instincts telling her that they were getting closer to uncovering the truth behind the dungeon's mysteries. "Let's be cautious." The next chamber was vast and filled with towering stone pillars adorned with more runes. In its center stood a massive stone statue of a guardian, a figure clad in armor that seemed both ancient and otherworldly. As they entered, the statue's eyes glowed ominously, and its voice boomed through the chamber. "Who dares enter my domain?" Mira stepped forward confidently. "We seek answers about the disappearances in Eldenwood and wish to confront whatever darkness lies within this dungeon. Only those who prove their worth may pass," the guardian intoned. "You must face 3 trials, of strength, wisdom, and courage." Yarok raised an eyebrow skeptically. "Sounds like a lot of work for some answers. Do we have a choice?" Ilara asked quietly. "No," the Los replied firmly. "We must face these trials if we want to uncover what has happened here." The Guardian gestured toward 3 separate doors behind it, each marked with symbols representing strength, wisdom, and courage. "Choose your trial," it commanded. Mira looked at her companions thoughtfully. "Strength seems fitting for our warrior," she said, nodding toward Yarok. "Ilara should take wisdom. She has always been our voice of reason." She turned to the Los next. "That leaves courage for me." Yarok smirked but nodded in agreement. "Fine by me, let's get this over with." With their roles assigned, each member stepped forward toward their respective doorways. Trial of Strength. Yarok entered through the door marked with a fist symbol. The room beyond was filled with towering stone pillars that seemed to shift as he walked deeper inside. Suddenly, he found himself face to face with a massive golem made entirely of rock and earth. "Defeat me to prove your strength," it roared. Yarok drew his weapons, twin daggers glinting in the dim light, and charged at the golem with fierce determination. He danced around its heavy blows while striking at its joints where it was weakest. The battle raged on as Yarok used his agility to outmaneuver the golem's powerful strikes. With each successful hit, he felt more emboldened until finally delivering a decisive blow that shattered one of its arms. With a final thrust of his dagger into its core, Yarok watched as the golem crumbled into dust before him. Trial of Wisdom. Meanwhile, Ilara stepped through her door marked by an open book symbol into an expansive library filled with ancient tomes and scrolls floating mid-air around her. "Answer my riddle correctly to prove your wisdom," a voice echoed from nowhere. Ilara took a deep breath as she focused on one particular scroll that unfurled before her. "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body but I come alive with wind. What am I?" Ilara pondered for a moment before realizing, an echo. The voice chuckled approvingly as more scrolls gathered around her in celebration of her answer. "You have proven yourself worthy." Trial of Courage. Mira stepped into her trial marked by a lion symbol. A dark void awaited her within where shadows danced ominously around her feet. "You must face your fears," whispered an unseen presence as shadows coalesced into monstrous forms, figures from Myra's past that haunted her dreams, lost comrades and enemies she had fought against in battle. Heart racing but resolute, Myra drew upon her inner strength. She remembered all those who had fought alongside her, their sacrifices fueling her courage. "I will not let fear control me," she shouted defiantly as she charged forward against the shadows. With each strike she delivered against these manifestations of fear, they began to dissipate until only darkness remained before her, a darkness she would not allow to consume her any longer. As each trial concluded successfully for Myra's team members one by one, they reconvened in front of the Guardian statue once more, each carrying newfound confidence from their experiences within their respective trials. "Well done. You have proven your worthiness," boomed the Guardian's voice once again as it lowered its arms in acknowledgement. With bated breath, Myra stepped forward again. "Now tell us what we need to know about Eldenwood's disappearances." The Guardian hesitated for just a moment before revealing, "Deep within this dungeon lies an ancient evil, a creature that feeds on fear and despair." Myra exchanged worried glances with Delos and Ilara. Yerrick merely raised an eyebrow curiously at what lay ahead. "The creature has been drawing power from your world by taking those who wander too close," continued the Guardian gravely. "If you wish to stop it, you must confront it in its lair." The path ahead was fraught with danger, but together they would face whatever awaited them within this dark abyss. This part builds tension while showcasing each character's strengths during their individual trials within the dungeon while setting up for further confrontation against an ancient evil lurking within its depths, a pivotal moment leading towards their ultimate goal of rescuing those lost villagers from Eldenwood. Betrayal and revelation. The Guardian's voice echoed in the chamber, its words hanging heavy in the air. "To confront the ancient evil that dwells within this dungeon, you must be prepared to face the darkness that lies within your own hearts." With that, the stone statue began to shift, revealing a hidden passage leading deeper into the dungeon. Myra exchanged glances with Delos, Ilara, and Yerrick. Each of them felt a mix of trepidation and determination as they stepped forward into the unknown. The path was dimly lit, and the air grew colder with every step they took. Shadows danced along the walls, creating an unsettling atmosphere that made it hard to shake off the feeling of being watched. "Stay close," Myra instructed, her voice steady as they ventured further into the depths. "We need to be ready for anything." As they descended deeper, the echoes of their footsteps faded into an eerie silence. The walls were adorned with more runes, but these were different, darker and more foreboding. Delos paused to examine them closely. "These runes speak of despair and fear," he said, his brow furrowing. "It's as if they're feeding off negative emotions." Ilara shivered at his words. "That can't be good. We need to keep our spirits high if we're going to confront whatever is down here." Suddenly, a chilling laugh reverberated through the corridor. It was a sound that sent shivers down their spines, a voice filled with malice and contempt. "Welcome, brave adventurers," it taunted. "You've come seeking answers, but all you'll find is your doom." Myra instinctively drew her sword, ready for a fight. "Show yourself," she demanded. From the shadows emerged a figure cloaked in darkness, its features obscured but its presence unmistakably malevolent. "I am the harbinger of despair," it declared, its voice dripping with mockery. "You think you can challenge me? You are nothing but pawns in a game far beyond your comprehension." Yerrick stepped forward defiantly. "We're not afraid of you. We've faced worse than whatever you think you are." The harbinger laughed again, a sound that echoed ominously through the chamber. "Oh, how delightful. Your bravado is amusing. But tell me, what do you truly know about fear?" In an instant, the shadows around them shifted and morphed into nightmarish visions, images of their deepest fears materializing before their eyes. Myra found herself standing on a battlefield surrounded by fallen comrades, their lifeless bodies strewn across the ground. Delos was engulfed in flames, unable to escape as he watched his village burn around him. Yerrick faced a mirror reflecting his past crimes and betrayals. Elara fell to her knees as she witnessed visions of her family being taken by dark forces, echoes of cries for help ringing in her ears. "No," she screamed, shaking her head violently as tears streamed down her face. Mira fought against her own vision, forcing herself to focus on her friends beside her. "We can't let it get to us," she shouted through gritted teeth. "Remember who we are." The Los cried out, summoning his magic to dispel the illusion surrounding them. A shimmering light erupted from his hands, pushing back against the darkness. With renewed strength, Elara stood up and began chanting a healing spell, a warm glow enveloping them as she focused on their bond as friends and allies. Yarrick gritted his teeth as he fought against his own demons. "I won't let you win," he shouted defiantly at the Harbinger. The creature recoiled slightly at their combined resolve. It had underestimated their strength when united against fear itself. "Foolish mortals," it hissed angrily as shadows lashed out toward them like tendrils seeking to ensnare them once more. But Mira refused to back down. She charged forward with her sword raised high. "We are not afraid of you. We will end this." With a fierce battle cry, she struck at the Harbinger's form, and in that moment of clarity amidst chaos, the Los unleashed a powerful spell that illuminated the chamber with blinding light. The combination of Myra's strength and Thalas's magic shattered the illusionary grip of fear that had held them captive. The Harbinger shrieked in rage as its form began to dissipate under their combined might. "No! This cannot be," it howled before vanishing into thin air. As silence returned to the chamber, Mira collapsed against one of the stone pillars, panting heavily from exertion. Elara rushed to her side while the Los steadied himself on shaky legs. "We did it, we faced our fears," Elara said breathlessly, relief washing over her as she checked on her friends. Yarrick smirked despite his own exhaustion. "That was quite a show we put on," he said with a wink. Mira smiled weakly but felt a lingering unease settle within her heart. "But what does this mean for us?" The Harbinger spoke of a greater game. The Los nodded thoughtfully as he caught his breath. "It's clear now that this dungeon holds more secrets than we realized, dark forces at play that extend beyond our understanding." A low rumble echoed through the chamber once more, causing dust to fall from above. The ground shook beneath them as cracks appeared in the stone floor. "We need to keep moving," Mira urged urgently as she pushed herself upright again. "If there's an ancient evil down here drawing power from fear, we have to stop it before it claims more lives." As they pressed onward into yet another passageway illuminated by flickering torches along its walls, each member felt an unspoken bond strengthen between them, a shared determination forged through adversity. Deeper into the dungeon they went until they reached another vast chamber filled with strange artifacts and remnants from those who had come before them, adventurers who had sought glory but had met grim fates instead. The Los stepped forward cautiously to examine one particularly ornate relic, a shimmering crystal orb pulsating with energy similar to what he had encountered earlier in Eldenwood. This could be significant," he murmured as he reached out tentatively toward it. Suddenly, an overwhelming force surged through him upon contact. A vision flooded his mind, images of past adventurers battling creatures born from nightmares, echoes of their struggles resonating within him like distant memories begging for release. "The Los!" Mira called out anxiously as she noticed him faltering under its influence. "I'm fine," he replied quickly, though uncertainty crept into his voice. He could feel something awakening within him, a power that felt both exhilarating and terrifying at once. Elara approached cautiously while Yarrick kept watch around them for any signs of danger lurking nearby. "What do you see?" Elara asked gently, concern etched across her features as she sensed the Los grappling with something profound yet dangerous. I see their pain," he whispered hoarsely. Tears glistened in his eyes as he struggled against overwhelming emotions flooding through him. The despair etched into every fiber of those who had come before him weighed heavily upon his heart like chains binding him down. "They fought valiantly, but they were consumed by darkness," he continued softly, his voice trembling slightly under its weight. a burden too great for one soul alone to bear without succumbing entirely beneath its pressure. Then we must honor them by ensuring their sacrifices weren't in vain, Mira said firmly, determination igniting anew within her spirit even amidst sorrowful revelations about what lay ahead, still waiting patiently just beyond reach, an ancient evil hungry for souls lost long ago yet eager still for more victims willing enough to tread these cursed halls unprepared for what awaited them inside. With renewed purpose fueling their resolve despite lingering doubts about what lay ahead, their path illuminated by flickering torchlight casting shadows across stone walls, they pressed onward together united against whatever darkness awaited them next within this labyrinthine dungeon filled with secrets begging to be uncovered. The final confrontation. As the echoes of the harbinger of despair faded into the darkness, Mira, Delos, Ilara, and Yerrick regrouped in the vast chamber filled with artifacts. Each of them bore the marks of their trials, exhaustion and determination etched on their faces. They had faced their fears and emerged stronger, but now they stood on the precipice of a greater challenge. "Let's move," Mira urged, her voice steady despite the weight of what lay ahead. "We need to confront this ancient evil before it can claim more lives." Delos nodded, his expression serious. "I can feel its presence growing stronger. It's like a dark cloud looming over us." Ilara placed a comforting hand on Thalas's shoulder. "We've come this far together. We can't turn back now." Yerrick cracked his knuckles, a grin spreading across his face. "Well then, let's give this creature a proper welcome." As they ventured deeper into the dungeon, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. The air grew colder, and an oppressive darkness enveloped them, making it difficult to see more than a few feet ahead. The walls seemed to close in around them, and the faint whispers of despair echoed in their ears. "Stay close," Mira reminded them as they navigated through the narrow passageways. "We need to be ready for anything." Suddenly, they entered a vast chamber that was unlike any they had encountered before. It was filled with swirling shadows that coalesced into monstrous forms, twisted creatures born from fear and despair. The center of the chamber was dominated by a massive altar, where an ominous figure loomed, a creature that seemed to be made entirely of darkness, its eyes glowing with malevolence. "Welcome, intruders," it hissed, its voice echoing through the chamber like a chilling wind. "You've come seeking answers, but all you will find is your end." Mira stepped forward defiantly. "We're here to stop you. You've taken too many lives already." The creature laughed, a sound that sent chills down their spines. "You think you can defeat me? I am the embodiment of fear itself. Your courage is nothing but a fleeting illusion." Delos raised his hands, channeling his magic as he prepared to confront the creature. "We won't back down. We've faced our fears and emerged stronger." Ilara stepped beside him, her healing magic ready to support her friends. "Together, we can overcome any darkness." Yerrick drew his daggers, a fierce determination in his eyes. "Let's show this thing what we're made of." With that declaration, they charged forward as one, Mira leading the charge with her sword raised high while Delos unleashed bolts of magical energy toward the creature. The battle that ensued was fierce and chaotic. The creature retaliated with tendrils of shadow that lashed out at them like whips, striking at their resolve and attempting to sow doubt in their minds. Mira dodged one such attack and countered with a powerful swing of her sword. "You won't win," she shouted defiantly. Delos focused on amplifying his magic, casting protective barriers around his friends while launching spells at the creature's core. Each successful hit caused ripples of darkness to dissipate momentarily. Ilara worked tirelessly to heal any wounds inflicted during the battle, her presence providing comfort and strength to her companions as they fought against overwhelming odds. Yerrick darted around the battlefield with agility unmatched, he struck at vulnerable points in the creature's form while avoiding its deadly strikes with finesse. But as they pressed on, it became clear that the creature was not without its own cunning strategies. It began to manipulate their fears once more, summoning visions from their pasts that threatened to weaken their resolve. Mira found herself back on that battlefield again, the faces of her fallen comrades haunting her thoughts as she fought against despair threatening to engulf her. "Focus!" Elara called out from nearby, her voice breaking through Myra's haze. "Remember why we're here." With renewed clarity, Mira shook off the visions and pressed forward once more. "We fight for those who can't," she shouted defiantly. As the battle raged on, it became evident that they needed a new strategy if they were going to overcome this ancient evil once and for all. "The Los!" Yarrick called out amidst the chaos. "Can you channel your magic into something bigger? We need a powerful spell." The Los nodded grimly. He could feel the weight of their struggle pressing down upon him, the burden of every life lost weighing heavily on his heart. "I'll try," he shouted back as he began to focus all his energy into one concentrated spell, a beacon of light amidst encroaching darkness. As he channeled his magic, Elara joined him in focusing her healing energy toward him. Together they formed a brilliant light that illuminated the chamber, a stark contrast against the shadows surrounding them. Mira felt hope surge within her as she saw the Los harnessing such incredible power. She knew this was their chance. "Now! Let's finish this," she cried out as she charged toward the creature once more, her sword glowing with newfound energy from Thalas's spell. With one final push from all four of them, their combined strength ignited by camaraderie, they unleashed their attack upon the creature. The explosion of light shattered through the darkness like dawn breaking over a long-forgotten land. It engulfed everything in its path, consuming shadows and banishing fear from existence itself. The Harbinger shrieked in agony as it was overwhelmed by their united force, a cacophony of sound echoing through the chamber before silence fell once more. As dust settled around them and light faded back into shadows, Mira fell to her knees panting heavily. Exhaustion washed over her like waves crashing against rocks after a storm. "Elara, are you all right?" she managed between breaths as she looked around at her friends who were equally worn but alive. Together they had faced unimaginable horrors yet emerged victorious against an ancient evil intent on spreading despair throughout their world. "We did it," the Los said softly. Tears glistened in his eyes as he realized what they had accomplished together. An unbreakable bond forged through adversity and courage transcending fear itself. Yarrick chuckled breathlessly despite fatigue weighing heavily on him too. He wiped sweat from his brow with a grin spreading across his face. "Not bad for a bunch of misfits." Elara smiled warmly at her friends. Relief flooded through her heart knowing that they had triumphed over darkness together, a testament not only to their strength but also unity forged through friendship. As they gathered themselves amidst remnants left behind by battle, the echoes of past struggles fading away, they knew there would be more challenges ahead but for now, they had won. Together they would face whatever awaited them beyond these ancient walls, united against whatever darkness dared threaten those they loved most fiercely.